Susan Gardner here for Municipal World. We are at the 2019 AMO conference in Ottawa, and joining me in the Municipal World Media Centre is the Association of Municipalities of Ontario President Jamie McGarvey. Welcome, Jamie.
Welcome, Susan. Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming in. Great conference here, as always.
Some great feedback from the delegates, the sponsors, the vendors. Everyone seems very happy with everything. The sessions are going really well. I've just had some really super comments from people about the overall conference, the tone of the conference, and the ability to learn and network. Yeah.
So we have had some political representatives here, some provincial representatives from different ministries, and the Premier. Let's talk about some of the things that we've heard here from them at AMO.
Sure. We certainly we heard the Premier right after my speech, and we've had conversations with many ministries. AMO's been working for the past year, trying to get the government to have a little more dialogue. And I think what we heard over the period so far with this conference is that finally we're going to enter a new phase of relationship with more consultation, with better information, and so that AMO can actually provide some excellent input into what the government's doing. I mean, our goal is certainly to make sure that the municipalities try and get the best possible deal or have the best possible relationship that they can with the province. So, we have maintained our position at the table. We are fostering a meaningful dialogue, and I'm hoping that that was the message that moving forward, that will maintain this going into the future, so that we can do our best for our municipalities, because we have to remember we have one taxpayer. We have the same communities that we're dealing with. We're dealing with the same issues, and municipalities are the front line. And that was the message that we have been consistently delivering to the new government, and my hope is, and from what I've heard, is that that's the direction that they want to go in now.
Okay, so there were some speculation that we might be potentially entering into a new era of downloading. There were some comments made about cost sharing and.
Yeah, and some of it is speculative. I mean, sometimes people read certain things into things that are said. The government does have is tackling a deficit. They are trying to bring the fiscal house into order, and we as municipalities get it. AMO certainly gets it. We have our own reality that we have to deal with regard to our own houses, municipal houses, to make sure that they're in order. And one thing a municipality can't do is run a deficit. So we're used to tight budgets and fiscal responsibility, and we're certainly hoping that a government can do as well. Now, in saying that, we certainly hope that again, coming back to the meaningful dialogue and good conversation, and looking at that we can work together to try and solve these problems together, so that we're saving the provincial government money, but also not strapping the municipalities with a further burden. And that's going to be our goal, and our outlook on this is to make sure that we're going to do the best for municipalities that we can. If others read into it what it is, I look at it this way, that we're going to wait and see and have those conversations before we jump to any speculation on that. And I think it's the right tack to take. in this. Yeah, are there some, a new cost-sharing arrangement for public health? Let's take a look and see where that falls into play, and where that will end up. But then there was also the addition for a 4% for land ambulance as well. So, where does this meet? Does this meet in the middle somewhere? I mean, we have those responsibilities in different municipalities. So, is one going to help the other? We don't know. It was good news that the 4% was there. So, again, let's have the conversation and find out where the numbers end up. There was other talk on some other things too. So let's get the details before we start speculating down one path. The important thing for me is that, and as again, moving forward and paving a new road for consultation. And that is something we have been working on over the last year to try and impress that on the government. And I believe finally we made that inroad.
So some conversations are going to be happening.
Oh, absolutely.
And
Yep.
AMO will be
at the table.
At the table.
Yep.
That's fantastic. We also heard from Federation of Canadian Municipalities President Bill Karsten was here, and he talked about priorities for the upcoming election and how the municipal toolbox was kind of lacking and needed some more support from.
Well, that's something, again, AMO's been at for years, is providing, getting not just this government, but other governments in the past, to be able to provide municipalities with the tools that they can reach into and grab onto. And instead of just going to the municipal tax base, being able to try and have something else that they can draw finances from to support their municipalities without saying, I have to raise taxes. So, that doesn't help everybody, because you always have that cry, well, you're raising my taxes. And I feel I have to pay taxes too. So, I don't want my taxes to go up that much. But, I also look at, we have infrastructure that we have to deal with. And,
there's things that your taxes pay for.
There are things that your taxes pay for that you have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. And, we've been impressing with governments past, present, and hopefully not in the future, that we need those tools in our toolkit to be able to sustain our municipalities and moving forward. We shouldn't always having to become coming to a government or somebody hat in hand. And, so, yeah, my hope is we can have those meaningful discussions over the next year and the next couple of years. It was in my speech. One of the things that I mentioned was the fact that, I know that Premier Ford, had his frustrations when he was a municipal councillor, but he really has the opportunity right now as Premier to fix it.
To do some significant things for Ontario communities.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah. So let's look at the rest of Ontario, see where we can help, work together to pave this new road forward so that everybody ends up winning, because as I've said, we're dealing with the same taxpayer, we're dealing with the same communities, and we're dealing with the same issues, although they might be different in each community because, one size doesn't fit all. But they're all at different levels, or, some concerns in one community more serious than another. But it's all there, and we need to work together on it.
Well, thank you so much for coming in and chatting with us. And again, congratulations on another great AMO conference.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah. I'm Susan Gardner for Municipal World. We share your stories.